Hey, magical people, happy Aries season. I hope everyone is enjoying the other side of this spring equinox where we are having more light. So I am all dressed up very fae-like today because I'm actually going to be going to celebrate Ostara with my coven. So theme for the reading and for the energies right now is play. So dress up, have a good time, allow that sacral chakra to really tap into the flowing and the playfulness of the energies around. There's a lot of heaviness going on in the world right now, but really making sure that you're taking time to not be so focused on the daily routines and to help step out into a more uplifting and radiant energy. So we're going to kind of see what is happening further into the energies for everybody else. So spirit guides collective, what are the energies happening for the collective at this time? Cool. Okay. So bottom of the deck, we have fate. And then we have ancestors. We have release. And we have get wild, which this is totally that sacral chakra energy. So a lot of you may be feeling like you are tapping into your ancestral line. There may be some communication coming forward from your guide spirit team that is really helping you to uplift and raise your vibration. And I think a lot of this time period is about releasing the old and to allow for the new energies to be imbued into your DNA. Because with the release and the get wild here, we have a lot of melding of energies. And in order for that to happen, the releasing process really needs to take forward and allowing that release to happen, whether it's emotional or physical, however you are processing this information. I know earlier today I started crying out of nowhere. So this is a really abundant time, and the ancestors, your guides, are really wanting you to move forward in a more joyful and uplifting energy. So let me get a few more. I'm going to pull one from this deck and then one from the goddess deck. Spirit guides. What other messages? I just want one. Just one, please. Okay, so we have reconciliation. Ooh, and Persephone at the bottom of the deck. Love that. And right now, Persephone is actually coming back up from the underworld. And in Greek mythology, so we have winter and springtime is when Persephone rises from the underworld, and then Demeter is so happy and joyful to greet her back. So all of the flowers start to bloom. We start to see a lot of vegetables popping up, the vibrancy of life. And in the wintertime, she becomes sad and everything dies because Persephone goes back down into the underworld. So little mythology knowledge there. So, and then Spirit, can we get one more, please? Can we get some more goddess energy here? Okay, so Callie at the bottom of the deck, we have endings and beginnings. And then we have undying love. The love you have shared is eternal regardless of the situation. So there may be something popping up within the relation field. I know we talked about this during the last readings. So the reconciliation and the undying love here, this feels like a very, like I said earlier, karmic lesson. And it's not that you don't have love for this situation or for this person. I feel like there's actually a lot of love here, but the ways that we're operating in the past they're no longer suited for this new radiant vibration. So really tapping into some of the reconciliation, whether it be with the self and what you didn't know prior, or reconciliation with a specific person or energy. And when we're in this space of reevaluating, returning, um, we learn a lot of lessons in how we can move forward in a different light. So this really feels like there's a level of forgiveness in the undercurrents. And whether that be forgiveness, you don't have to forgive the person if you're not ready for that, but forgiveness so that you can release it from your energies, because there's some dichotomy with that happening right now. And that may also be a huge lesson for some of you, is to no longer hold any guilt or resentment or feeling like you have to hold on to this energy in order to justify whatever happened. And the way to move forward out of this karmic situation is to really mature. And then I love that we have protection and the fairy queen at the bottom. Tapping into this fae energy is really cool for me. I'm typically more of an elven girl, but I'm really loving the lightness of this energy, which is another thing to help move out of this heaviness, is to have fun. And through having fun and doing the things that you thoroughly enjoy doing, that is also when you get a lot of downloads on how to move through a situation. So it just feels like there's some stalemate energy that is asking to be released through reconciliation and through opening up to that unconditional love. So let's get some tarot, shall we? Spirit guides, what other energies are here for the collective? Three of Cups, King of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, and then I'm not going to take those. Can I get three more, Spirit? Please and thank you. Two more. Cool. Okay, so we have every element on the table aside from air, which is communication. So some of you may not be communicating with this other party, or the communication is very minimal. But so we have the Three of Cups, King of Cups, Nine of Pentacles. So in the heart of the reading, we have King of Cups and Strength. So King of Cups, I think, came out in our reading last Monday. So this theme of emotional intelligence and having the strength to process those emotions and even recognize when maybe you may not have handled a situation in the way that you would have liked to, but having the strength to recognize that. And I'm seeing the infinity symbol is popping up very heavily here. So some of you may be returning to a cycle to complete it and then move forward. And with the Three of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles, it feels like there's a level of connection that you would like to express, and doing that from a place of autonomy, and to be able to express how things were handled or how things affected you without judgment from yourself or the other person. It feels like there's that level that is needing to be expressed. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Cups. So this is walking away from an emotive situation, something that just no longer fulfills you in an emotional way. And in the traditional Rider way, the Eight of Cups has an eclipse on it. So perhaps around eclipse season, which is now, you are really finding the things that just do not suit your heart anymore. And it is okay. It is okay for things to change. It is okay for things to move. That is the only constant in this life, is change. And really making sure that we are putting forward a lot of that joy, because there's a lot of fire and a lot of passion here with the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands. So we have like an elevation happening. So some of you may be igniting that force and doing either some research on, could be a project, could be a lot of emotional healing, but it looks like this progression is helping you move forward and helping you to start a new cycle in your life. So that's beautiful and great. But I'm also hearing the word humility and humbleness. So looking at a perspective from an objective point of view and being humble about the ways that it was handled. So let me get some more advice here. Oh, Knight of Cups. So some of you may be extending an offer to somebody. I'm not going to take those. The Star. Oh, there's the Ace of Swords. Okay. So advice here is the Knight of Cups, the Chariot, and the Ace of Swords. So some of you may have somebody coming in who wants to communicate with you, or you would like to extend an offer to communicate to somebody else with a fresh new perspective, a fresh new flood of information, and how things can be handled in a new light. If this is wanting some reconciliation with whoever this is. So this is really beautiful, because the Knight of Cups, he is extending a message of love. He is giving with the flowers. He is not guarded. He is open. See that little note down here at the bottom. And with the Ace of Swords, this is total emotional communication. So whether it be you initiating or the other person initiating, this is going to help clear up a lot for the both of you, and making sure that your guards are down to be vulnerable with this person is really going to help in moving the both of you out of this cycle of whatever toxic traits happen to be playing out for the both of you. So let me get some of these bad boys. Spirit guides, what other messages are here? Whoa. Okay, we have give, let it go, and step back. Okay, and allow. Okay, so some of you may be really in a space of receiving right now, and it feels like this level of separation needed to happen for you both to, I remember in the past reading again, be in that Nine of Pentacles, find your own journey. So there may have been some codependency happening in this connection or situation. And now it feels like the both of you may be coming to terms with, I can be autonomous. I can move forward in my destination and journey, but I have to be able to communicate my truth from a place of understanding and love, and not give pieces of myself away to satisfy this other energy. And a lot of us empaths out here, we do that. That's just people pleasing is a habit and a programming that a lot of us are needing to release and undo at this time. And it's an ongoing journey. And the more that you step into your sovereignty and are able to communicate from that heart space, the more that this muscle is going to be used, and it's going to become easier. And when you start to see your worth and your ability to transform, and that takes a lot of healing, that is when you really can maneuver through situations a lot easier. And then you start to clock it. You start to understand, like, hey, I used to operate in this old programming, and that is why these lessons or these people would come to me, because I was constantly needing to learn from that lesson or cycle to be able to break it. And that's why this stepping back needed to happen. And then this letting go. So this really feels like a really big up leveling for many of you. And we have allow here at the bottom of the deck, and I'm going to read this. And it says, you're being asked to open your energy field and take down your walls of protection in order to allow goodness into your life. Sometimes without even realizing it, we block ourselves from the flow of life. It's safe to open yourself back up. And I am getting that a lot of you may have been living in a fear-based mentality, and that is completely normal. But to constantly live in this state of fear, it can put blinders on. It can put blinders on to ways that you are reacting to situations, and it can also block your blessings because you're receiving a lot. Your nervous system becomes on overdrive, and you put up a shield of protection around you. And in this state, yes, put protection where it's needed, but there's an underlying message of not living in protection and fear constantly, because that's exhausting. And knowing when to put it up is one thing, but also knowing when you are able to be safe and drop down your shields and to really let that energy flow. That is a really big lesson, and that is what's happening with this allow card. And then at the underneath that, we have the surrender card. So there is that infinity symbol happening. A reciprocal energy is wanting to come through for you, and maybe that is a new connection and new people coming forward to help fill your cup, because this Three of Cups, I love this card. This card warms my heart so much. And this is having those people around you and the support around you who see you and who see your wounds and are able to walk with you through these wounds. And they help you to feel safe and to help reprogram. It's not that they're doing the work for you, but by cultivating a safe and sacred space for you to sit, and this is also something that we are being taught within ourselves too, but allowing you to create that space, but to also know that your external serves that for you. That is the ultimate safe container that healing can work through. And we're moving in a new Piscean and Aquarian way with the King of Cups. This is really moving from a heart space and moving from a level of understanding, and we're moving away from the collective seeing everything as individualistic. And humanity, the ancestors, guides, they are asking us to work together as a whole and to unify to help up level each and every person. And some people, that is not the lesson that they came here to learn, and that is okay. But knowing when to surrender that and to know that your lesson is a greater level to serve the collective, having that autonomy and that sovereignty is really going to help kind of differentiate you, and you can clock patterns, and you can also see when a specific vibration is just it's not compatible with you. And that doesn't mean that you don't love that person or situation. It's just not resonant with where you are and where you're going in your life. And that's okay. So, a lot of discernment happening right here, but also with that reconciliation and releasing resentments. That's a really, really big one. And knowing that everyone is operating in the best way that they can, but knowing when to release and let go when something outside of you is not in your control, that is a lesson of power. And if that person or that situation is supposed to be in your life, it will come back, it will return. But giving it space and allowing yourself to step back and to do your own healing, that is the biggest blessing that you can give to yourself. So I love you guys. I hope that this season brings prosperity, abundance, lightness, and really we're able to tap into love overall and just to have fun, be creative. So I love you guys, and I hope everything is beautiful and amazing. Mwah, much love.